Thank you so much. Again, I am Kimberly Ellison-Taylor, a past chairman of the American Institute of CPAs and also a past chairman of the International Association of Certified Professional Accountants. It is my pleasure to share with you why the CGMA credential has been so influential in my career. I chose unlimited possibilities for my presentation because that's exactly what I think of when I think of management accounting. I am especially delighted to speak with you about my career and my start with accounting. I was in the 3rd grade when someone came to my elementary school and spoke about the various career options that were available: doctor, lawyer, engineer. And when they came to accountant, that was it for me. And so over the years, I have steadfastly remained committed to the field of accounting. And as I have learned more and more about what we do, it has only enhanced and reinforced my love and my appreciation for the value that accountants bring. But it is very, very important to recognize that a goal without a plan is just a wish. And I can't tell you how many times over the years I heard that exact sentiment. When I think about the accounting profession, there are so many considerations. But one of the things that I find most interesting is that it is a profession that allows you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I've met many of my CIMA colleagues, and I've been so impressed by the CIMA credential, and now especially the CGMA credential, because there were many people who could learn the field of accounting through lots of hard work, apprenticeship, and demonstrated expertise in their various responsibilities. I really appreciated the field of accounting, especially because I grew up in the inner city of Baltimore. And I always recognized that management accounting, in this case, would be a field that would allow me to give value, bring value, and always have a role that I could apply for. That's certainly a value proposition of our accounting credential. Now, as it relates to my career, and I'm happy to share some of the tidbits along the way, I've been able to work in various fields. I've also been able to earn various credentials. And certainly one of those is the Certified Public Accounting credential. It's been a win-win when I couple it with the field of management accounting, especially as it relates to the CGMA. When you consider the role of finance inside an organization, there's treasury management, integrated reporting. There's the entire merger and acquisition department. There's the area of accounting that looks at forecasts, financial planning and analysis. It's also a very key aspect of financial consolidation and close, and also as it relates to new regulations and implementation and compliance guidelines. There are so many different fields within management accounting that I have grown only a deeper appreciation for. And when you add that with all of the body of knowledge that I've learned over the years as it relates to being a CPA, it's very easy to see why I consider that to be a win-win. When you add the CGMA to your resume and your credentials are speaking for themselves, it tells the public, it tells the business industry, it tells fellow colleagues that you have taken on the responsibility of speaking the language of business, of being an integral part of the CFO office, whether you are the CFO, a chief accounting officer, a controller, a budget analyst, or you're working your way up to the top. CGMA has a lot of different value propositions that are critical to decision makers and also to people as they decide which aspects and which profession they'd like to work in. So let's just look at this chart. We serve the public's interests. We serve our members and we serve businesses. What I can especially appreciate about the role and the function of management accounting is that it's helped me move from one field to another, to another, to another. People, processes, technology, and also finances are the cornerstones of any organization. And when you are a management accountant with a CGMA credential, you also understand the responsibility you have to retain and also enhance and elevate your knowledge of what's happening in the world, especially as it relates to those various disciplines that you see on the screen. We've been talking about the speed of change for quite some time. This is exactly when our value shows through. We've also, unfortunately, have been tackling for at least the last year and a half, a pandemic environment that has impacted both individuals and businesses. And when you consider that accountants are essential, we provide tax services, we provide guidance on new products, goods, and services. We also provide expertise as it relates to the supply chain. We were providing forecasts on cash management and liquidity. We were also evaluating the investments. And at the same time, we were also ensuring that we were meeting the regulatory expectations and providing valuable information to the C-suite. This is in spite of a very, very tragic and uncertain pandemic environment. It feels a little bit like this: crossing a bridge, uncertain, it's chaos, every ball is in the air. You don't know if your company's going to be there 3 months from now. And yet, in many instances, this is exactly where, once again, we showed our value, because we were able to ask the tough questions about efficiency and effectiveness. We were able to ask the tough questions about who is in the supply chain, what the value proposition would be on whether we continued a service or discontinued a service. What would be the expenses that we could do without, and which ones that we need to continue, especially as we now consider hybrid, in-person, and off-site working arrangements. But yet, somehow, as I've spoken to my colleagues around the world, we managed to build a bridge. We build a bridge to human resources. We built bridges to other parts of the finance organization, to the technology organization, and also to our internal stakeholders. We provide an understanding and awareness of what's going to happen next. CGMA helps you look around corners and anticipate change to be future-proof against whatever disasters may come, to provide critical expertise to the C-suite so that they can make tough, but also very critical decisions. And it just doesn't impact you, it impacts locations around the world. And what's really interesting, especially as you consider the CGMA, our credential also takes into account the digital and technology world, the reason and need for digital transformation, because there are competitive threats, not just in your area, but also, again, around the world. And so it's really important for us to accompany our finance skill sets with technology acumen. And in particular, what really comes to mind for me is a Oracle-sponsored AICPA CIMA delivered survey that was conducted a few years ago, right about now, and it was called Agile Finance Unleashed. You can really look this up on your own. And what I appreciated is that there were 3 key elements that leaders who considered themselves agile finance leaders were able to really point to as the really key contribution for their success: operational excellence, digital intelligence, and business influence. And so when you consider operational excellence, our management accounting colleagues, especially those with the CGMA, are helping to drive process automation by asking why, asking about the expenses, asking about the value proposition, the security, the reliability, and really helping organizations design cost-effective, expert solutions that will help them grow even as they reduce their expenses overall. Digital intelligence is another key aspect that's right up our alley, and that was a highlight of the survey that was conducted. In today's environment, it's all about analytics. It's all about why. The two scariest questions for me used to be, what did you know and when did you know it? In today's environment, I think the scarier question is, why didn't you know it? And so as it relates to digital intelligence, it's looking at patterns and uncovering some really areas of opportunity that organizations could tackle and could potentially pursue. This is where the CGMA credential also shines, because ultimately it's about the insights that can be provided to leadership. It's about freeing up our teams who are doing some of the things that could be automated and elevating their roles to doing more value enhancing, more embedded with their business partners, and helping them make key decisions about goods and services, what's going to happen next, and maybe even some tough decisions about how to prioritize. That's where business influence comes in. When your internal business partners call you, you're not optional for key decisions and key business meetings. You're an essential element of all of those discussions, and you need and must be at the table. When your business partner considers you pretty much a key aspect of everything they do and how they operate, that's when we know we've put in place a key digital finance operating model that really does showcase how valuable management accountants are to the organization. This is just an example of the types of, but why? But why? Why? Why do we need to do that inside the organization? And I can almost hear my colleagues in my mind as it relates to some of these areas where there are potentials for having more cyber intelligence, looking at recommendations in sales operations, certainly preventing fraud and identifying and reporting and communicating it to management, looking at forecasts and evaluating customer relationships and evaluating where there could be more opportunity within any one of the outcome areas that you're responsible for. Where can we do better? We must do better. We have to reimagine, reflect, and reinvent what we're doing today so that whenever the next thing comes, we don't find ourselves at a disadvantage. That's the value of the CGMA. That's the value of the management accountant. And I'm so proud of our colleagues that even with the speed of change happening so quickly, faster and faster and faster, our colleagues are still standing up in an essential way, highlighting again the value that they bring. And when we talk about that blueprint for success, it really does tie back to the CGMA syllabus. And I'm really proud of the fact that we have added digital skills. I stand at the intersection of technology and accounting, and I appreciate the need for technical skills. Certainly, we always need to know the technical acumen of doing accounting, whether we're in FP&A or whether we're internal audit, we're doing treasury management, or we're doing taxes. We have to have those technical skills. We also need business skills. It is important to understand the mission, purpose, and values of the organization, the strategic objectives, what's going to happen next. And of course, as we lead people, it's important to understand how to delegate, how to motivate, how to inspire, creative problem solve, and get people to do things that they never thought that they would do, especially when you couple those two things, leadership and people, with digital skills and an understanding of artificial intelligence and machine learning, blockchain or the Internet of Things or cloud or big data. We have a bird's eye view as management accountants of what happens inside the organization. The CGMA syllabus is an opportunity for us to continue to maintain our trusted advisor role inside the organization and also ensure that the blueprint for success that we've achieved will be even more enhanced. And that's why it's so important to really focus on not the soft skills, but success skills. And those are the skills that we need in order to get people through an uncertain time, through transformation, through an environment where processes are evolving and changing, and also through what could be, I would say, whatever the next normal will be. We're prepared. so we're not worried. And that's what I can especially appreciate, because success is evolving. And so we can't rest on our laurels. That's certainly something I've learned throughout my career. I have always been aware of the need to learn technical skills, but people skills are something I have only in the last decade or so have really drilled down to understand that it is about the team, of their success, their execution, what's important to them. And that is evolving the expectations that clients, customers, and business partners have for the organization. So a focus on people will never steer you wrong. A focus on having great leadership skills will always be important. And then, of course, it's just table stakes to understand business and also to understand the overarching environment of opportunity, especially as it relates to technical skills. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me. The CGMA credential is an essential part of the services that I'm now able to offer in the marketplace as the CEO of KET Solutions. I am delighted that I've been able to reinvent myself and reimagine what I would be doing now because of the skill sets that I've learned from the CGMA credential, coupled with me being, of course, a CPA. And I have certainly appreciated the ability to ask key and tough questions and to see patterns of differences that have, I think it's really helped me differentiate and be successful in any role that I've been in. And so I encourage you to continue with your credential and to continue working on achieving even greater heights of excellence and to do us all proud. Thank you so much.